What's going on, family? This is Scrapbook Boxing, the Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. We're going to cover a great middleweight champion, Carl Bobo Olson, the Hawaiian Punch. He became middleweight champion in 1952 when he faced Randy Turpin for the vacated middleweight championship belt that was left behind by Sugar Ray Robinson when he went up to face Joey Maxim. Sugar Ray Robinson was exhausted in the 14 rounds. The electrolytes left his body. He couldn't continue, so he retired and went on to show business. Meanwhile, Carl Bobo Olson and Randy Turpin, who Sugar Ray Robinson have both faced in the past, fought for that vacant belt. What most impressed me with Carl Bobo Olson was when he faced Australian middleweight Davy Sands. Now, Davy Sands was a middleweight champion of Australia, light heavyweight champion of Australia, and a welterweight champion of Australia. And no one in America wanted to face Davy Sands. But Carl Bobo Olson did. He defeated Sands, and that's what I was most impressed of with Carl Bobo Olson. He fought Sugar Ray Robinson numerous times and was unsuccessful. So let's take a look at his great career otherwise. He was an outstanding fighter. Carl Bobo Olson was born July 11th, 1928 in Honolulu, Hawaii. He was the son of a Swedish-American father and a Portuguese-Hawaiian mother. Now, Carl Bobo Olson always wanted to ride horses. He wanted to grow up being a jockey, but instead he turned professional. And he debuted in San Francisco in 1945 and returned to the Pacific Islands with victories over Flashy Saberstein and Roy Brooks. Carl Bobo Olson was an outstanding middleweight. He fought all the great fighters, Rocky Castellani among others. But as you can see here, he had two decisions to Davy Sands, one in Sydney, Australia, and one in Chicago, Illinois. On October 26, 1950, he was stopped in 12 rounds by Sugar Ray Robinson in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in a world middleweight title bout with Robinson on March 13, 1952, at San Francisco, California. Robinson narrowly edged out a 15-round victory decision. With the retirement of Sugar Ray Robinson, Olson was listed as an outstanding American contender for the vacant title. He won the American crown by defeating Patty Young. Carl Bobo Olson, born July 11, 1928, Honolulu, Hawaii. He stood 5 foot and 10 and a half inches. He began his professional career in 1945 on a card on November 23rd when he faced Art Robinson in San Francisco, California, by knocking him out in 4 rounds. Then he came back the following month on December 10th and faced Bobby Jones, San Francisco, California, and KO'd him in 2 rounds. In 1946, January 7th, Obi Woodton, San Francisco, California, KO'd 1 round. January 14th, Veppy Watson, San Francisco, California, knocking him out in 1 round. January 28th, Pedro Jimenez, San Francisco, California, he knocked him out in 4 rounds. On February 4th, Chuck Ross, San Francisco, California, defeated him in 6 rounds. February 25th, Delaware Bradby, San Francisco, California, KO'd him in 3 rounds. And this continues, knockout after knockout. 1947. He continues winning up until July 4th of 1947. He faces Georgie Duke in Honolulu and he lost 10 rounds. First loss as a professional. Then he continues to fight August 19th, Georgie Duke in Hawaii, and he defeats him in 10 rounds. And that's what I like, a comeback kid. November 22nd, Boy Brooks, Manila, lost in 10 rounds. December 17th, he fought Manila again and he knocked out his opponent in 3 rounds. 1948, January 17th, Boy Brooks and Manila defeated him in 12 rounds. Flashy Substein, Charlie Cato, very good African-American fighter. 8-round victory. I'm just skimming through. 1949, January 11th, Paulie Perkins, Honolulu, Hawaii, killed him in 2 rounds. March 15th, Anton Reddick, very good fighter. Hawaii, knocked him out in 7 rounds. July 26th, Milo Savage, another good fighter, African-American fighter, Honolulu, Hawaii, defeated him in 10 rounds. August 23rd, Art Hardy, Honolulu, Hawaii, killed him in 3 rounds. November 22nd, Johnny Duke, defeated him in 10 rounds. December 13th, Earl Turner, defeated him in 10 rounds. Now, the other day I showed you an African-American book. A lot of those fighters were in that book. 1950, February 22nd, Don Lee, Honolulu, Hawaii, defeated him in 10 rounds. March 20th, Davy Sands, Sydney, Australia, he lost in 12 rounds. April 25th, Roy Miller, Hawaii, killed him in 5 rounds. May 22nd, Otis Graham, Hawaii, defeated him in 10 rounds. September 5th, Henry Bremen, Hawaii, defeated him in 10 rounds. October 26th, Sugar Ray Robinson, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and he was knocked out in 12 rounds. 1951, March 20th, Art Soto, Hawaii, defeated him in 10 rounds. May 7th, Lloyd Marshall, Murderers Row heavyweight, Honolulu, killed him in 5 rounds. Very impressive win. July 9th, Chuck Hunter, San Francisco, California, defeated him in 10 rounds. July 27th, Charlie Cato, Richmond, California, killed him in 3 rounds. So far, impressive. Very impressive victories from Carl Bobo Olson. August 27th, Bobby Jones, San Francisco, California, defeated him in 10 rounds. October 3rd, Davy Sands, Chicago. He lost in 10 rounds. Sands was a very good fighter, master boxer. 1952, February 12th, Woody Harper, Sacramento, California, defeated him in 10 rounds. February 15th, Tommy Harrison, Hollywood, California, defeated him in 10 rounds. March 13th, Sugar Ray Robinson, San Francisco, lost in 15 rounds for the world middleweight title. He was going after the title when he fought Robinson on March 13th, 1952. Then he goes on a card on May 6th, Woody Harper and Richmond, KOing him in 7. So you can see here, Carl Bobo Olson was a very, very good fighter. It was just certain fighters he was unable to beat. Robinson was one of them, and Davy Sands was another one. And they were both master boxers. July 12th, Robert Villamain, very good fighter out of Pennsylvania, San Francisco, defeated him in 10 rounds. August 27th, Eugene Hairston, New York, KO in 4 rounds. November 20th, Lee Sala, San Francisco, KO'd him in 2 rounds. December 18th, Norman Hayes, very good fighter, San Francisco, defeated him in 10 rounds. Now that victory over Gene Harrison was an outstanding victory because he was a very good fighter. 1953, February 7th, Norman Hayes, again, Boston, defeated him in 10 rounds. March 16th, Garth Panther, good fighter, defeated him in 10 rounds. June 19th, Patty Young, very good Italian fighter, New York, defeated him in 15 rounds for the American middleweight title. October 21st, Randy Turpin, New York, defeated him in 15 for a vacant world middleweight title. So he won that title in 1953 and not 1952. Just make that correction. 1954, January 23rd, Joe Rindon, San Francisco, killed him in 5 rounds. April 2nd, Kid Gavilan, Chicago, defeated him in 15 rounds. Title bout, very good victory. June 15th, Jesse Turner, Hawaii, KO'd him in 8 rounds. July 7th, Pedro Gonzalez, very good fighter, Oakland, California, KO'd him in 4 rounds. August 20th, Rocky Castellani. He defeated him in 15 rounds. That was a title defense. December 15th, Pierre Langlois. San Francisco, California, knocked him out in 11 rounds. This is very, very impressive. Very impressive. I've done a lot of research on these fighters, in and out. And I can tell you, this is a very impressive resume so far. 1955, February 1st, Benny Walker, Richmond, a 2-round exhibition. Bull Housey, Richmond, 2-round exhibition. That was February 1st. So he had 2 fights on February 1st, 2 exhibition bouts. February 16th, Ralph Tiger Jones, Chicago, defeated him in 10 rounds. March 12th, Willie Vaughn, Hollywood, California, defeated him in 10 rounds. April 13th, Joey Maxim, San Francisco, defeated him in 10 rounds. Joey Maxim would become light heavyweight champion. That's who Archie Moore took his title from. And that's who Sugar Ray Robinson had a problem with. Couldn't continue in the 14th round with Joey Maxim. And Carl Bobo Olson was able to defeat him, but that was 10 rounds. Wonder how he would have done in 15 rounds. June 22nd, Archie Moore, New York. Moore knocked him out in 3 rounds for the World Light Heavyweight title. August 13th, Jimmy Martinez, Poland, defeated him in 10 rounds. August 26th, Joey Giambra, San Francisco, very good fighter, by the way, defeated him in 10 rounds. December 9th, Sugar Ray Robinson, knocked him out in 2 rounds, and he lost his world middleweight title. So Robinson came out of retirement and challenged Carl Bobo Olson for that title again. And Robinson defeated him. So I think that was Robinson's 3rd time becoming middleweight champion. First LaMotta, then Randy Turpin, and then Carl Bobo Olson. 1956, May 18th, Sugar Ray Robinson, Los Angeles. And he was stopped in 4 rounds. Robinson knocked him out again for the world middleweight title. Announced retirement October 3rd, 1956, then made a comeback. 1957, June 18th, Joey Maxim. And he defeated Maxim in 10 rounds. August 17th, Pat McCarthy, Portland, Oregon. He was stopped in 2 rounds. So he goes on and he fights fighters like Patty Young in 1958, November 25th, in Oakland, California. He knocks him out in 6 rounds. Very impressive. 1959, March 30th, another good fighter, Rory Calhoun, San Francisco, California, defeats him in 10 rounds. 1960, he has 4 fights. One is with Doug Jones, August 31st, and he was knocked out in 6 rounds. Doug Jones put a lot of pressure on his fighters, on his opponents, so I can understand that. June 6th, Mike Holt, Johannesburg, and defeated him in 10 rounds. So Carl Bobo Olson, fascinating fighter, outstanding middleweight, dynamite puncher. Dynamite puncher is Carl Bobo Olson. As you can see, his knockout reign. And he fought a lot of fighters who are either champions, Hall of Famers, or other fighters who were good fighters couldn't beat. And he was somewhat of a spoiler in that aspect. So dynamite career from Carl Bobo Olson. Salute to him. He has been entered into my Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. Great middleweight, Carl Bobo Olson. You can see here, Carl Bobo Olson facing Randy Turpin. And this is for the vacant middleweight title, left behind by Sugar Ray Robinson, 1953. So Carl Bobo Olson, outstanding middleweight. Salute to him.
15 rounds for the middleweight championship of the world. Introducing in the red corner at 157 1/2 pounds, wearing white trunks, the middleweight champion of the world, Sugar Ray Robinson. In the blue
So you can see here Sugar Ray Robinson versus Carl Bobo Olson. I just wanted to give you some stats. October 26, 1950, Robinson KOs Bobo Olson in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 12 rounds. March 13th, 1952, Robinson defeats Carl Bobo Olson in San Francisco, California in 15 rounds. December 9th, 1955, Robinson KOs Olson in Chicago in 2 rounds. May 18th, 1956, Robinson KO'd Olson, Los Angeles, California in 4 rounds. Robinson won in 4. So he won 4 of the fights that they had together. Did Robinson. So there you have it, Carl Bobo Olson. His career, outstanding fighter. He just couldn't get past Sugar Ray Robinson, and he couldn't get past Davy Sands of Australia. But he was able to get past this fighter here, Randy Turpin. So let's take a look at Randy Turpin's career. Now here we have Randy Turpin. Randy Turpin was an outstanding middleweight. He was a one-time middleweight champion after he defeated Sugar Ray Robinson in England. But in a rematch in Yankee Stadium, he came up short and was stopped. But he was a very good fighter. He had a couple of brothers. I showed you Dick Turpin the other day in the African-American book. So let's take a look at Randy Turpin's career. So Randy Turpin, he was born June 7th, 1928 at Leamington Spa, England. He stood 5 foot 10.5 and he weighed 159 pounds. He was managed by George E. Middleton. He won 5 national amateur titles of Britain, started his professional career in 1946, and served in the Royal Navy as sea cook during the World War II war. After the death of British Empire middleweight champion Davy Sands, we talked about Davy Sands. I have to do a profile on him. I have one, but I just probably I'll do it next week. I have a good write-up on him. Very good profile on him. You should learn about Davy Sands, so I'm going to introduce him to you probably next week. Outstanding and fascinating Australian middleweight. Turpin was matched with George Angelo for the vacant crown. So that was for Davy Sands' vacant middleweight title. Because Davy Sands, he passed away, and that title was became vacant. A vacant crown for Randy, and he won 15 rounds, and he became the new Britain middleweight champion. The title took place in London on October 21st, 1952. His rise in the game was rapid and reached his peak on July 10th, 1951, when he defeated Ray Robinson on points. This was at the Earl's Court, London, England, to win the middleweight championship of the world. It was one of the greatest upsets of the decade. In a return match with Ray Robinson at the Polo Grounds in New York, Turpin lost. He lost the crown. He was actually knocked out. He was halted 2 minutes and 52 seconds of the 10th round. He was actually knocked out in that fight. He got up. Robinson put him up against the ropes and just opened up a barrage of punches on him until Ruby Goldstein stepped in and stopped the bout. This is in New York. Turpin lost his crown. Gross receipts set the record for a non-heavyweight bout. $767,626. Turpin's purse was over $200,000 with a share of the motion picture rights, the largest ever received by a British fighter. As you can see here, was a record gate for a non-heavyweight, Polo Grounds. So you have here Randy Turpin and Sugar Ray Robinson. A record for the gate receipts for a non-heavyweight bout was set on October 12, 1951 at the Polo Grounds. This is in New York. This is 155th Street and Carvin Avenue in New York. When Ray Robinson regained the title by stopping Randy Turpin. Now, Ray Robinson had already lost the title in England to Randy Turpin, but he regained it, and this was for that fight. I'm reading as I'm actually looking, so yeah, excuse me. Randy Turpin in 10 rounds. So only 11 fights, 10 of which were heavyweight championship affairs, grossed more. The purse of the fighters, including film and theater TV rights, were the largest ever received by these two fighters, and Turpins also contributed. So here's the official breakdown. Paid attendance, 61,370. Gross gate was $767,626.17. Overall gross, including U.S. film and theater TV rights, $992,630. Gross theater TV was $200,000. Was actually $25,000, and the gross U.S. films was $200,000. As you can see here, 1946, all victories. 1947, all victories. 1948, all victories up until April 26. Albert Finch, London, lost in 8 rounds, and he was stopped by Gene Stock. Now, Marcel Sedan knocked out Gene Stock. Sugar Ray Robinson knocked out Gene Stock. This was September 21st. In London, he was stopped in 5 rounds by Gene Stock. 1949, February 7th, Jackie Jones KO'd him in 5. February 21st, Doug Miller defeated him in 8. Continues. 1950. All victories. The loss on a foul to Tommy Uras, very good fighter. December 12th, London. He lost on a foul in 8. 1951. Luke Van Dam. Ray Robinson knocked out Luke Van Dam very early, but you can see Randy Turpin knocked him out in 1 round. This is February 27th, 1951. March 19th, Gene Stock killed him in 5. Another Robinson and Marcel Sedan opponent, Billy Brown, April 16th, killed him in 2. So all knockouts so far, until he met Sugar Ray Robinson July 10th in London. And he went the distance with Robinson, 15 rounds, but he did come away with the title. But then in the rematch, September 12th that same year, Ray Robinson knocked out Turpin in 10 rounds, and Turpin lost the world middleweight title. 52, continues all his victories. He fought October 21st, George Angelo, for the vacant British Empire middleweight title. 1953, June 9th, Charlie Hums, London, defeated him in 15 rounds. That was for the European middleweight title. October 21st, Carl Bobo Olson, New York, lost 15 rounds for the vacant world title. That was when Robinson relinquished the crown. 1954, May 2nd, Tiberio Mitri, and he was knocked out in the first round. That was a major upset. I watched that fight all the time. European middleweight title. 1955, April 26th, Alex Borton in London killed him in 2 rounds for the British and Empire light heavyweight title. And he continues. He lost to Hans Stretch. Hans Stretch was a Ray Robinson opponent. Ray Robinson knocked him out. So let's take a look. He had 73 fights, 43 KOs. So here you have Ray Robinson and Randy Turpin. This was that fight at the Polo Grounds. See, Robinson knocks out Randy Turpin. Let's take a look at Scrapbook. See how this fight turned out. Here you have Randy Turpin as he faces Sugar Ray Robinson. Randy Turpin was a fascinating fighter. It says here, triumphs of Randy Turpin, the first British citizen since Bob Fitzsimmons to gain the middleweight boxing championship of the world. Turpin is seen right, delivering a powerful right across Sugar Ray Robinson. Beautiful, beautiful fight. And just like Max Malling when he went back to Germany after defeating Joe Louis, Turpin goes back in royal style. He was the man over there at that time. I'm just showing you a rematch here. Goldstein sends Robinson back over to a neutral corner because, as you can see here, Turpin is completely stretched out. You got Robinson and Turpin. This here was at the Polo Grounds in New York. Huge turnout. Like I said, Randy Turpin was a very good fighter. It was 5 Turpin brothers. Randy was a champion. You had Dick Turpin. And the others were basically amateur fighters, or they fought over in England. But Randy Turpin was the actual fighter who would bring the family name. As champion. And like I told you plenty of times, you're going to find a lot of newspaper articles that I do have in different languages. Because, like I said, we collected every kind of newspaper we can get our hands on, my dad and I. You can see here Turpin to your left, Robinson to your right. Now, Robinson was going to get stopped in this fight because the referee, Ruby Goldstein, didn't like what he saw in Robinson's eye. He could see the white meat of Robinson's above his eyelid, and he was going to stop it. Robinson said, no, let me get one more round. That was in the 9th round. 10th round, he came out and stopped Randy Turpin. And here you have Nat Flasher handing Randy Turpin a ring belt. And Sugar Ray Robinson came and took that belt back from him, along with the world title. So this is Randy Turpin. You saw Carl Bobo Olson. This is Scrapbook Boxing, the Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. Salute to these very good fighters. They've been entered in my Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. Salute to them. Salute to my prescribers. Peace.